Hello, this is Raul Nugmanov from One Way Automation. In this video, I am going to demo you one of the very common use cases when customer needs to move data from industrial data source to Confluent Kafka running in the cloud. As a data source, I will use ProsysOPC UA Simulation Server. Why this server? Because it allows to modify OPC UA server's other space. You can add variables, objects, even you can simulate methods with it. In case of the destination, it's Confluent Kafka, a flavor of Apache Kafka, hosted by confluent.io. And to do this task, we are using our product, the Visual Logger for OPC. So it will be used to get the data from point A and deliver it to point B, to Kafka. Okay, so for this I have a virtual machine, Windows 10, and here I have OPC UA Simulation Server running, and I have Kafka Cluster hosted by Confluent in the cloud. Here there is a menu connectors, and from here we can search for OPC UA, and you can see our visual logger for OPC is listed as a verified data source. I have to clarify that this is it does not implement, it's not packaged as a Confluent source connector. Rather, it's independent application that you need to install yourselves, and Visual Logger for OPC can run on Windows, Linux, and in Docker, and also on ARM-based computers like Siemens IoT 2050. Here, if we click on Configure, then there is a link to our website. And here, if you scroll down, you can see there is a community edition. For 30 days after activation, it will have all the features that Enterprise Edition has. And then after 30 days, it will have a limitation on number of OPC UA variables to 64. For this number of variables, you can use it forever for free. So if I click on download today, it will redirect us to the shopping cart. So we enter all the required fields here, and then click on place your order. We will not be charged. Click on continue, and now I have to receive email. I have this email installed on this virtual machine. It will take some time, I guess, to generate the license and send the notification email. So now we got the email. For information about deployment, you go to this website, and then for activation, it has activation link. And there is also another email with a license key. Okay, so using the first email, we open this link. It goes to the deployment link, and here recently we added Windows installer on this virtual machine that runs Windows. I'm going to download Windows installer. So let's wait until we download the installer. Windows warns us that this is not trusted. This is one of the first releases, so we don't have yet installer signed by the certificate. So now I'll click on keep anyway, and then click open file. Windows again warns us that it's not signed. We will fix that in the future releases, but for now let's trust this installer. Here is the installer. You need to read the license agreement and then click on agree, and here Visual Lager for OPC is installed always. Optionally, you can install and enable higher availability node manager service. We are not selecting it, and then we will need dependencies, Visual C++, runtime libraries, and ODBC driver for SQL Server. Even if we don't use Microsoft SQL Server as a destination, we are going to use only Confluent Kafka, but anyway, we need that DLL to be present in the installation folder in order to start the application. But it will not take a long time. So we select the destination folder. It's by default on C program files, and then there is another folder where our data is stored, and this folder should be writable, while program files location can be read-only. And if we want, we can change the protocol to HTTPS, and instead of using default port, we will use the port used for encrypted communications, and it will check if this port is free. It will take some time, and then now we are ready to install. I click on the install button. It will extract all the files, and now it will also install it as a service, and also we see it will install ODBC driver for SQL Server. I just click install to install into the default location, finish, and now installation is complete. I click on the next, and it has a link to the configuration GUI, and it uses a self-signed certificate. For that reason, we get this warning. And here is the configuration GUI, where you need to enter username and password. By default, the password is just password. Default password after installation need to be changed. So old password was just password, and then I enter new password. So you cannot keep using default password for a long time, only for one time. So now it says that application is not licensed. We have to go to license status and enter activation code that we got from the email. Copy and then go back to the GUI and enter it here. And after entering it, it will check if this license code is used or not already. And now you need to enter the password. This password is used when you need to reactivate license when you move it to another machine. It will also require to access a license portal, and then email address. In case if you forget this password, this can be used to recover it. And now I click on the activate. Okay, now it's successful. And there is also another thing, annual maintenance and upgrades license. For 1 year after activation, you can upgrade to the new versions, but after that you will need additional license to support upgrades. But for now, we are good to go for 1 year. Here it still says, it still shows that not licensed, but we need to refresh the window, and now we are licensed. If I click on the license status, then we can see it's community edition, and not the Windows doesn't show all the information, but we can modify, resize Windows location and position, width, length, and then it's on this window and all other windows. They remember what is the current size and position, and so if your screen resolution is different, then you can adjust the GUI. Initially, it might look not very not very nice. So now we have Visual Logger for OPC installed, and it's running as a Windows service now. I can go to services, for example. Okay, this is the service and its status is running. And we can check where are our application data folder. Data folder is here. It installs some data which you can modify, and all user specific data is stored on this folder. And if for some reason you need to send log files are located here. This is the local storage to store data before forwarding them to the destination, and some other files. Okay, so this is our installation. Now we need to configure it. So here all configuration is done through settings menu. The first we need to connect to the configuration database where all our configuration data is stored. It uses by default SQLite. I will keep it in this case as is, but it's possible also to use a PostgreSQL server to store configuration data. In that case, first it is easier to back up all your configuration, and the second, you have to use PostgreSQL in case when you use higher availability cluster functionality. Okay, I'll keep this setting as is, and then second, you can define one or more configurations, how you connect to OPC UA servers and what variables you log data for. So you can have different these settings and then switch from one to another. It can be useful for testing. I will keep just default configuration, and then you can define, before moving to time series and instances, you can define variable groups. So if you have different groups of variables that you need to sample with certain resolution, some of them you want maybe to store every second changes up to that, and some of them maybe not changing very often. So for them, you can create different groups with different time resolution, how you want your data to be stored every second, every minute, every 10 minutes. And these settings from the group which is currently selected will be used when you add variables to log. I'll keep this also unchanged. And then in the collector configurations, you will enter data source configuration settings, and in the time series databases, it's here we enter a destination database. And it has some default sample configuration settings. We can leave them as is. Here you can see that some buttons were not visible. Again, I a little bit make it wider, and now I have this plus button available here. Our destination is Confluent Apache Kafka instance in the cloud. So here I can leave the name as is, port number, and hostname I need to get from Confluent settings. We need this this hostname. Okay, I'll copy it, and then I'll go to here and enter it here. I need to select also use secured mode, and as a username and password we enter key and secret for the API key. API keys are here. I already have one key here, and I get the key and use it as a username. the secret is hidden. So I got the secret part, the second part of the API key. I put it here, and then the rest of configuration settings are about how do we map OPC UA variable properties or attributes to Apache Kafka settings. This field, topic name generation mode, it tells how to generate topics. I will select use topic template member of the JSON configuration field. JSON configuration field is here. And then as a key, we are not using the key, but anyway, I'll select this one here. And then this JSON part is a flexible part of configuration settings where target destination type depending settings are configured. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Here we need to select SSL SSL as a security protocol, and we leave the mechanism as is. This is location of the CA certificate. It has already this file in the under the program data, and I'll keep it. It has a root certificate already, so you don't need to change it. I'll tune off use key in message, and we will use only topic. And I select use payload. In this case, I will use already created topic. Will not use custom topic for each variable message. And for that reason, we need to have information about what variable we are logging data for in the payload. And these in square brackets are so-called placeholders. They will be replaced by corresponding attributes from OPC UA variables. So this is the settings I did for connection to Confluent Kafka. So now I can try to click on the test connection button and see, can we connect with these settings? Okay, connection test succeeds. And now I can see if these connection configurations. So now we have it here, ready to use. Now we need to tell our application instance that we need to log data into that specific destination. And for that, we need to edit instance configuration settings. If you have multiple instances that have the same configuration database, then you will have multiple instances here. In our case, we have local SQLite database as a configuration database, and therefore we have only this one instance here. We select it and open instance configuration settings. By default, it was selecting stored data, time series data in the SQLite database. We now select the Confluent database which we just entered. Okay, and this one, collector agent enabled, you can enable and disable collecting data. And for now, I'll keep it as is, but if you configure a lot of servers and variables, in order to apply them, it will reconnect servers. It might be not desirable. So during the configuration, you can tune off collecting of data, and then when you have all your variables selected, and when you verify that they go to the proper topic, key, partition, etc., then you can enable it. But in this case, we are not going to have a lot of settings. And now I'll save this. So now if we start collecting data, they would go to Confluent database. So now next step is what OPC UA server we connect to and what variables we want to log data for. So here, this other space, I see it's a little bit small, so I'll expand it a little bit. Here we go to the source, which is ProsysOPC Simulation Server. I copy its endpoint URL That's all we need to connect to OPC UA Server. It's easy. And I click on the plus button and I enter endpoint URL, and then I enter name of the server. And additionally, I can enter server tag, which can be used when we compose a topic for Apache Kafka connection, when we publish messages. So we select this, and then if you want to log complex type data variables, then you need to select these two options here. And other than that, we can keep these settings as this, the default. I click OK. I try to expand this server node that was just added, and it starts to browse OPC UA Server address space. And here, this simulation server has a few pre-configured variables. I select all of them, and then I would also select server status variable, and I click log. This way we select them and add to the list of variables for which data will be collected from the data source and logged to the destination database. And as I mentioned, you select default group here, and then for that group, settings will be assigned to new records. I can create one more group here, and for example, slow group. And for that, we sample data every 5 seconds, for example, and maybe publish them every 2 seconds, and then I can change also the queue size, etc., and save this new group. And now if I select this new group, and if I select some other variables, by the way, the variables which are already being logged, they have different green tags. And let's see what else variables we have here. For example, label and switch, these two variables. Now this slow group is selected, and then when I click log, it will copy settings from that group. If I change screen refresh rate to 1 second, I can see data values are coming, and server status is not displayed here because complex data takes more space to display, and for that reason, in order to see them, you need to click on this icon, and then you can see value of the variable. So you can see it can decrypt, decompose complex type data variables without problem. So now we configured the server and variables where to collect data from. And now if we go to tool statistics, then it will show us what is the current state of the application. Here we can see that we are connected to the database Confluent. It's here, it's hostname, port number. We are connected right now, and we can see how many data we are stored locally and collected and stored locally, and then forwarded to the database, and how many data values are kept in the local storage. And right now we have good connection with the destination, so data immediately being forwarded to the destination. Everything looks good. And I can go to the cloud instance of the Kafka and see, are we getting messages here? So it's loading messages. Yes, we see data values coming here. We selected the partition here, -1. We don't see partition here, but you can enable different columns here. For example, partition, I add here partition. Now you should see partition. -1 means broker will assign partitions automatically. We can see also other settings, and we should see also what topic these messages will go to. Here we see, okay, the topic name, I enable it. And now this column width can be modified. So in order to see that topic name, they all go to the same topic. And just for information, we have here browse name, browse path. All these GUI settings, once you configure a number of columns to see, it will be saved. We can see here how many variables in total and how many of them are good or bad. You can see status of each variable here. So this is the GUI, and I already showed this to the statistics. Data is flowing, and we can see them. So that's the video. Again, in this video, what we covered is we are moving data from ProsysOPC Simulation Server to Confluent Kafka with visual logger for OPC. That's it. If you have questions, you can go to our website. Go to our website, and then there is Contact Us button, and you can submit a message to us here, or you can open this online chat tool and send a message from here. And if you need to purchase or just to evaluate, I already showed you that you can go to products, Ogamma Visual Logger for OPC, and then select Community Edition and get it. Standard Edition can be purchased without any interaction with us from the online store. And then for Enterprise Edition, the price depends on number of variables and servers, and we can support hundreds of thousands variables in one instance. For example, 100,000, 200,000. We can log data with rates 50,000 variables per second to the cloud. We can cover a wide range of different use cases. Also can send data not only to the Kafka, but also to in other destinations, like you can see the list here, like PostgreSQL, InfluxDB version 1 and 2, regular Apache Kafka, Confluent, Microsoft SQL, MySQL, SQLite, and MQTT. Using MQTT, you can go to Amazon Cloud, to Azure IoT platform, or Google Cloud, or IBM platform. There are a lot of possibilities here. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.